This is Jamie Dyer welcoming you to another edition of the Quo-Cast. And if you'd like to be a guest on a future episode of the podcast, then you can. Just email quocast@outlook.com. That's quocast@outlook.com. You can tweet at the Quo-Cast on Twitter or check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/the Quo-Cast. And there's also a group and a YouTube channel that you can get involved in as well. I think we all know as Quo fans that reissuing of the Pye Years is nothing new. It's been happening for many years. I'm sure people will remember back in the 70s when Quo were at their height, the owners of Pye Records would often release compilations. The one that springs to mind is Golden Hour of Status Quo, which has like the early 60s recordings and a few from the first two 70s albums on them. So it's nothing new. However, there's still a lot of love for those Pye recordings and music on vinyl, who have in the past, they've released picturesque matchstickable messages from the Status Quo on vinyl. They've done Spare Parts, which is an exclusive. They also did something called The Rest of Status Quo, which was a reissue of something for Record Store Day. And they've also done Dog of Two Head as well, and maybe more original albums in the future. But their recent compilation, their most recent compilation anyway, of Status Quo stuff is Status Quo Masters Collection, The Pye Years. Now, it says here, and I'm reading from here, that this is a 180-gram audiophile vinyl. It's a gatefold sleeve. All tracks on side A by the pre-Quo bands The Spectres and Traffic Jam. It's the first release of the Masters Collection series. It has a PVC protected sleeve, and there is a certain number of copies. It's limited edition of 2,500 individually numbered copies on white vinyl. So this new album, this new compilation, what's on it? Well, as I just said, side A features the Spectres recordings, including I Who Have Nothing, Neighbour Neighbour, Hurdy-Gurdy Man, Letitia, We Ain't Got Nothing Yet, I Want It, and then the Traffic Jam recordings, all two of them, Almost But Not Quite There, Wait Just a Minute. That comment I just made, by the way, is for the studio recordings, not any sessions they may have done for the BBC. Side B, we're into Matchstick territory. Pictures of Matchstick Men, Gentleman Joe's Sidewalk Cafe, Black Veils of Melancholy, To Be Free, Ice in the Sun, When My Mind Is Not Live, Technicolor Dreams, Paradise Flat, Make Me Stay a Bit Longer starts side C. Then we go on to Auntie Nellie, Are You Growing Tired of My Love? So Ends Another Life, The Price of Love, Little Miss Nothing, and we finish that side, track number 7, Down the Dustpipe, with a bit of boogie. We start the next one, side D, with Face Without a Soul, In My Chair, Gurdendula, Tune to the Music, Good Thinking, Mean Girl, and finishing off with Everything. That is the 2-disc compilation on vinyl from Music on Vinyl, Status Quo Masters Collection, The Pye Years. And as I said previously, limited edition of 2,500 individually numbered copies. If you'd like to know more information about this release, go to musiconvinyl.com. So, yeah, I was excited when I read that, mainly because I know I said that these tracks, many of these tracks have been released numerous times on various compilations over the years, but I don't think the Spectres and Traffic Jam songs have been released all that much on vinyl. Obviously, the original pressings, and then you have sort of various compilations, but I looked it up the other day. I'm sure that one of the major ones was back in the 80s on the Quotations albums. The Spectres recordings and maybe the Traffic Jam was included. But I may be wrong. Someone will have to correct me on there. So the way I see it, if you'd like those songs on vinyl, that seems like a really good way to do it. But as sort of a small to medium collector, I'd say try and grab it while you can, because on the second-hand market, it could go up quite drastically in price. But that is a decent little compilation, and I love the photograph on the front in black and white. It really looks nice. Obviously, this is the first one in the Masters Collection series. Maybe the other pieces of artwork that they've got prepared for future releases of other artists looks similar. We don't know at this stage. I'll have to see if I can contact them and maybe talk to them on here. Who knows? So yeah, tell me what you think of this collection, and also tell me, did you buy the albums that most of these tracks were on? So Picturesque or Spare Parts, Mark Helly's Dog of Two Head, or did you first hear them in a compilation like this? For me, it was a compilation like this. It was the At Their Best compilation on CD. When I first heard most of these tracks, because I'd heard Pictures of Matchstick Men because it was on the Best Of, and of course Ice in the Sun, and it was on a few 60s compilations that I had laying around the house, but a lot of these other tracks were absolutely new to me. And if you're a hardcore for like the Frantic Four stuff, what do you make of the 60s era? Are you a fan? I bet there's some people out there that really enjoy it, even though it's not what Quo went on to do. Let me know, and I'll see you again for another edition of the Quo-Cast.